South Park, the third of the major three adult animated series, and surprisingly, despite making over 50 reviews for seasons and being doing this for well over a year, it took me this long to finally cover it. What the hell, Z-Man? What took you so long? Initially, South Park wasn't really a show I was interested in doing back when it was on HBO Max, purely because, well, back then I wasn't as into the show. I mostly watched South Park through like reaction videos and all that because, to be quite blunt, my parents and even my brother, to an extent, doesn't really like the show that much. The only ones who really like it are me and especially my sister. So already, it's not a show I've seen like that constantly compared to Simpsons and Family Guy, which were always on as a kid. But now that the show, but now that I finally got Paramount Plus, I decided I was wrong to deny South Park, as it is a show that, in my opinion, is very much worth discussion, even by me, Z-Man, the most important reviewer apparently, who apparently is like, "Oh, South Park's not good enough for this guy." But then he finally realized, wait, this guy's a loser. Of course, he has to be desperate and cover South Park. For real though, I have no idea if this video is going to get more views because I'm talking such a popular show, or if it's going to get less views because karma's a bitch, huh? And I'm not, and this is what I get for taking so long on this one. But finally starting South Park. Let's go. 1. Cartman gets an A probe. Aliens invade South Park and kidnap Kyle's brother Ike, but Cartman denies everything. Okay, so I don't really gotta describe the plot of South Park, right? I know I already read the episode 1 description, but like seriously, I don't gotta like talk about the story behind the series, right? Like we all know what South Park is, and I'm considering a lot of you guys know what this episode is. It's the only episode to not be animated using computers, and it obviously took the longest episode to make by far, being like almost an entire year, which is pretty damn impressive. Considering how I make all my Bros and Silly Tunes episodes within like a day, I couldn't imagine working on several months for one episode. So I guess if I ever become a more professional animator, which I do hope to be, then I'll have to, get used to that style. Stop stalling, Z-Man. What's your thoughts on the episode? I think it's a 4 out of 5. I like this episode. Yeah, the plot itself is admittedly not the best. I mean, the aliens randomly kidnapping Ike has always felt kind of strange to me. Why did they do that? How weren't the aliens supposed to be like all secretive, which is why they kidnapped Cartman at night? How come now all of a sudden they're like totally fine just taking Ike? That's a little strange. In general, it's clear that with this episode, they really didn't care about doing anything big or special. Matt and Trey just wanted to do what they found funny, and in a way, I can kind of respect that. Much like Family Guy, South Park isn't really a show where you're really meant to be too attached to the characters. It's very much more just another plain just comedy. Well, I do wish there were more comedies like Simpsons where I was actually able to get attached to the characters. If the writers really do just want to make like funny jokes, then it's their show. Well, who am I to make them do what they want? Not do what they want. I mean, and hey, at least I found the episode funny. The main four, I think, are pretty well established, or at least kind of are. Stan has a crush on Wendy. Kyle is Jewish and has a little brother named Ike. For this first season, yeah, Stan and Kyle are a little similar. I never fully got the complaints of them being too similar for most of the show, but in season 1, just as a spoiler, I thought most season 1, yeah, they do kind of act a little samey. I think Stan gets a bit more attention, which is why I think he's a little more developed in season 1, but yeah, they are both kind of just the main two, which I think you need, considering how Cartman and Kenny are just kind of different. Cartman is a spoiled brat, and in this episode is pretty damn unlucky considering, probe shenanigans. And Kenny is horny and poor, but dies in almost every episode, for now. The four of them, even in their season 1 counterparts, work well off each other, which is really why I like this episode so much. They have good banter. because due to the way they have to animate it and everything, obviously it's not a show where you really gotta rely on the visuals too much, but it's really the characters. And I think the characters of South Park really do, even in this episode one, really do just stick out as very memorable and very fun. I like this episode. There's a ton of good jokes in it. Cartman, like through most of the show, is the highlight here. Throughout my South Park reviews, may just expect me to say Cartman's a highlight. Why am I stuttering so much? I'm sorry. Cartman is the highlight of South Park for me, full stop. He is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, up there with the likes of Homer Simpson and, well, maybe not Homer Simpson or Roger Smith level, but he's definitely up there. And he is the main reason why I love the show. So, sorry to like Stan or Kyle or Kenny lovers. Those guys are. I do love Stan and Kenny, but like Cartman's my goat. Cartman's my G. So, I found him to be very funny here. I love how he just like tries to deny the whole thing ever happening. It's just funny to me. I did also like Kyle like trying to be polite at first, but then once the aliens were just leaving, he just fully just went out and just like yelled at them. I thought that was funny. I don't usually like shows where the joke is just that like, oh, it's violence or oh, it's swearing. But a joke like that is actually genuinely funny because like it's built up well. Overall, it's a little crude, and not much really happens in the grand scheme of things. God damn it, it has I Love to Sing in it. It has to be a good episode. 2. Volcano. Stan's uncle Jimbo takes the boys camping, unaware that the volcano is about to burst. Okay, this is the first episode to be animated digitally, so yeah. Say goodbye to that paper cutout to that real like a stop motion style of episode 1. Is this episode worth anything special? I think it is. It's a 4 out of 5. I didn't remember liking this one too much, but when rewatching it for this episode for this review, yeah, it's fine. I like it. It's really one of those where I like it more for the jokes than the story being anything special. The whole conflict of Stan wanting to impress Jimbo was nothing to me. Maybe because just Jimbo's just a dick who just likes shooting animals for fun, which is something I'll never understand why anyone does that. So that didn't really get much out of me. But again, this episode's very funny. So much like last episode, I think it's really the humor that kind of helps this one remain good for me. It has the duck and cover video and Chef's reaction to it. Chef is clearly the only sane adult in this town as of right now. Well, bro, call him a horn dog all you want, but Chef clearly cares for the children, and that's very respectable, considering how most of the adults in this town are. It's weird seeing Randy in this early season 1 version of himself. Again, another hot take for the rest of my review series. I just am not a big Randy fan in general. Sorry, folks. I'm more of a Cartman and Mr. Garrison guy in terms of like my wacky, like a not likable South Park characters. So Randy never really does much for me. But even I can recognize that in season 1, he's very weird and very different. Though I did like his joke of him being like, "Hey, Jerry, the line thing, it's moving. What is that supposed to do?" Even though that's his job. That was a good little subtle joke. Subtle in the way that I could see people kind of just missing it and not really seeing it, and just kind of like not thinking too hard about it. So apparently, Stan and Kyle just in general are based off Matt and Trey. So, and I think Stan was based off Matt. I'm pretty sure. No, Trey. I mean, you know what I mean. He's based off Randy. He's based off one of their dads. Okay. So yeah, overall, not anything too special as an episode, but again, it's funny enough. And again, it has Scuzzlebutt, so come on. 3. Weight gain 4,000. Also, by the way, I'm aware that to some people, this episode of Volcano are switched, but on Paramount Plus, it says this is episode 3, so I don't care enough to really check too hard. I'm just counting this as episode 3. Anyways, when Cartman wins a contest, Kathy Lee visits South Park, which brings back bad memories for Mr. Garrison. I really like this episode. It's a 4 out of 5. To be quite blunt, this is a guilty pleasure episode for me. I probably like this one way more than most people probably do. I don't think it's like a 5 or anything, but I really like this one for like no real reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's just maybe because we're seeing more of Cartman being just like a more of his like greedy self, or just only really caring about his own interests and being on TV, and then getting a waking 4,000 so it could be a beefcake. Beefcake! It is one of the highlight moments for me, by the way. Cartman just going beefcake. Beefcake! Other than that, I think Mr. Garrison, who is my second favorite South Park character, is another big highlight here. I love the flashback where we see him as a child and bro is still balding. I don't care if it was because they were too lazy to make a new like a model for him. I love the fact that he looks the exact same. That's funny as shit to me. I don't know or care about who Kathy Lee is, but from what I've heard, most people don't. So, in a way, it almost makes it funnier. That's an obscure celebrity they're just making fun of. So yeah, overall, I really like this episode. A lot of good jokes in it. Very well made. I like Mr. Garrison's backstory stuff because he's a character who they really explore like that, and more so in his past. It's a very fun episode overall. Definitely check this one out. Hell, Chef gets to bone Kathy Lee at the end, so it has to be worth something. Why have all these reviews ended with "it has this," just so you know it's good? Like, bro, you just told me it's good. You don't gotta add that little thing at the end. 4. Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. Stan's shocked to see that his dog Sparky is gay, but when Sparky goes missing, he doesn't play at the football game. Alright, so this one's a 3 out of 5. I'm sorry, this one's mid for me. It's on the higher end of a 3. Like, it's not anything god awful, obviously, given the fact. I mean, it did get the middle rating. And no, it's not because it's about gay people or anything like that. Hell, the fact that an episode in the late 90s was totally down to cover something like this is very commendable. It's 110% not because it's about being gay. It's 110% about being just not an overly funny episode. The football stuff was mostly kind of just okay with the occasional good joke. I liked how they kind of portrayed how Stan got more attention and like just did better in school because he's an athlete. He's a popular athlete. That felt very true, just for people, popular people in general. And I did like the scene with Jimbo and Ned, like trying to get the bomb, and they're all just singing it, and it's like loving you, ah. And they could clearly tell that they're laughing. The voice actors are just laughing, and they didn't bother to cut that out, which again is freaking hilarious to me. But the real reason, the main actual plot with Sparky is okay. Making your gay character both your two main gay characters are a dog and a big gay Al, who's so much of a stereotype that you gotta love him. Big Al is a fun character, or I guess I should say a super character. So I do like to seeing him around. And I do like how the episode tries to send it's an okay to be gay message. Not okay. It's you. If you're gay, then you're gay, bro. You shouldn't get hate for it. Which is a message I obviously agree with. I'm pretty sure most people. I was born in 2008. I think most people in my generation agree with that message. Hopefully. And Mr. Garrison gets some more highlight moments where you could tell he obviously is gay, but like doesn't want to come clean about it, so he tries to act like I'm just doing it to impress the ladies. Overall, it's very watchable, but doesn't really stand out super duper hard, and is also kind of just there, but definitely not bad. Completely watchable. 5. An elephant makes love to a pig. The boys try to make a pot-belly elephant. What? I'm stupid. Sorry. Take 2. 5. An elephant makes love to a pig. The boys try to make pot-belly elephants for their science project. Also, Stan has to deal with getting bullied by his sister Shelly. How is this one? Thankfully, we're back to the 4 out of 5s. Man, imagine having one mid-episode in your season. Like, bro. For real, though, this is another good episode. This is another one, like most of the season, it really is a jokes over story type of deal. You can tell with these early episodes, they really couldn't care less about like making some deep story. And they just wanted to make some stupid jokes for 20 minutes, which, again, I think can work under the right circumstances, and it's mostly been working so far. I feel like we get more of that Kyle Cartman banter that becomes so iconic. Like right from episode one, they never liked each other, but in this episode especially, we get more of them just really ribbing at each other. Though I guess it's because it is Kyle's elephant and Cartman's pig that gotta do the making of love. So I guess it's understandable that they'd have more screen time together. We also get the introduction of Mephisto, in my opinion, a very underrated character. He only really shows up for the first 4 seasons before just showing up in random cameos, which I'm very much unhappy with. This guy was cool. Let's bring him. He really should have been in the show more. He should have been more of a consistent mainstay. Either way, it's still a pretty fun episode. I really love the twist to where. Should I spoil it? I'm just gonna say it's really funny. And also, it's not even really a funny joke, but it's a moment I just can't help but love. It's both Mephisto and then later Chef singing the song about how pig and elephant DNA just don't splash. That moment has been stuck in my head ever since I first saw a reaction to this episode, and I can't even fully explain why. There's something about these scenes that are so damn catchy to me. I think it's the way they try to act like this is just a real song. I mean, I could look up and see if it's real, but I think it's funnier if I just never know if it's a real song or not. They both sing it differently too, which doesn't help. Overall, really good one. Oh crap! I'm sorry. I almost forgot about the stand conflict. My bad. My bad, fam. It's okay. I never really cared for Shelly, so her just beating up Stan isn't really funny to me. And also the whole ending with like the Stan clone, don't ask, being up by Shelly easily, and then despite the Stan clone causing all the mayhem in the town, again, don't ask. Shelly just says it's her, and then she gets no repercussions, or and like no one questions it. Sadly, a very forced ending where you can tell they were almost done and didn't really bother to really. They have to set everything up to be the same by the next episode, so they don't really care too hard about what goes on here. So very unfortunate, but most of the episode is pretty funny. 6. Death. Stan's grandpa tries getting him to let him out of this world. He tries deleting him. Come on, you know the episode of this type. You know the name of this episode. You should know what this is about. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, the adults try banning Terrence and Philip. To be quite honest, this one's a 3 out of 5. And it really is for that adult B plot. The main grandpa plot I actually do quite like. I love him calling Stan Billy. And then at the end, when he meets his grandpa, he also calls him Billy. That's just how this family be. The grandpa always has to call the grandson Billy. That's just how it works in this world, I guess. Overall, it's dumb, but it's like funny dumb. And I like how Stan's trying to get advice, but like obviously no one knows how to handle the situation. Very well spoken and just a very good point overall, I believe. The adult B plot though really drags this thing down. Just watch the South Park movie if you want to see this. This is just a worse version of it. The joke, the message, I literally agree with. Obviously, like you shouldn't blame TV. Obviously, parents just use it as babysitters, and now with YouTube and streaming, parents are just now using that as babysitters. So, yeah, parents will always complain about things, but never question their own parenting. I agree with the message. The problem is that it's not handled in a funny way. The joke is just that they're all shitting, but like they find gross things funny, but not when it's on TV. They're hypocrites. That's the joke. That's not funny to me. I'm sorry. So yeah, middle of the road. The grandpa plot's nice, but the adult plot really isn't that funny. It doesn't give me any desire to ever rewatch this one. 7. Pink Eye. On Halloween night, South Park deals with zombies. Alrighty. Now this and the next 2 episodes are pretty much the holiday trilogy. as they each handle with the main three US holidays, this one being Halloween, and it's one of the best so far, another 4 out of 5. Very consistent season this one is so far, and this is one of the best ones so far as well. Very funny one. I really like see the zombies feel like more of a real threat than most of the threats so far in the show. It's very well handled how they do it. The joke, the reason why it's called pink eye is because the doctors think that this whole zombie infection is really just pink eye. It's that classic dumb South Park humor that works so well, even in these early seasons. Speaking of which, this isn't a statement for this episode, but in general, so far this season feels less like an official show, more like a Newgrounds cartoon. I'm not the only one who thinks that, right? This is total Newgrounds energy, bro. I'm just putting it out there. So yeah, overall, I do really like this episode. Chef as the Michael Jackson zombie, I thought was funny. Definitely one of the better Chef songs so far. And I feel so bad for Cartman. Cartman's mom being on that dirty magazine. I'm only calling it dirty magazine because I have no idea if I'm gonna get like in trouble for saying the actual name of it. But yeah, Cartman's mom being on that magazine is very upsetting. As evil as Cartman is, when you realize how bad of a home life he is, it's at least a little understandable why he's so bratty and will later go on to pretty much become a supervillain. And seeing Kenny's whole shtick of dying every episode to be turned around into, oh, he's the start of the whole zombie curse. That's really cool, I thought. I really enjoyed that. And hey, give Kenny credit. He ate all his people, but he was with the boys the whole time and never tried to eat any of them. Kenny's a real one for real, for real. We all need a homie like Kenny, bro. Hey, it's Starvin' Marvin. On Thanksgiving, the boys accidentally get a kid, who they of course named Starvin' Marvin. While that's going on, evil turkeys invade the town. This one feels less like a Thanksgiving episode compared to literally last episode being Halloween, but okay. This is a good episode regardless. I think it's a 4 out of 5. Starvin' Marvin's iconic, bro. Even if this episode isn't like the greatest thing in the world, like most of these episodes, I do think Starvin' Marvin is iconic to early South Park. He's a good representation of what early South Park is. Dumb, random, but still decently funny. I love the scene where where they're at the food place and Cartman's showing Marvin just how Americans eat. In general, that's a funny moment, but I just love the part where Cartman's like, "Oh yeah, we gotta share. You don't want that here. Let me take this for you." Cartman just being a greedy bastard and not letting Marvin eat is so funny to me. Yeah, Cartman's always been a little evil. It's just until like roughly season 4 or 5 and later that he really shows it off more and more. But even early on, Cartman's such a fun character to watch. He's one of those characters you could put in like almost any situation and just make it funny. Case in point, him going to Africa and taking Marvin's place. They basically swap roles. That's just funny to me. I love him in the ad, just in the background, being like, "Guys, Disney, get me out of here! Let me get it, guys." That's my Cartman impression, by the way. Crap. Yeah, I know. Let me just move on. The evil turkey stuff is okay, but again, it feels very repetitive. Last episode was literally a zombie outbreak. We don't also need a turkey outbreak. That could be a problem with some of these early episodes. You can tell that this is not a season that's meant to be that's meant to be streamed like this. So you're watching episodes constantly back to back. So a lot of it can feel kind of samey, like a Kenny dying every episode, a chef doing a sexual song, some creature invading the town, whether it's turkeys, aliens, zombies, whatever. It's good, but it kind of feels like you're watching the same thing over and over again. And that's fine. I mean, I love the Looney Tunes, and that's a lot of that is also just the same thing over and over. But you gotta keep it fresh to make it really exciting. And while not failing, I also wouldn't say this season is doing an amazing job at making it all fresh. So this turkey stuff was also just kind of okay. Best part of it was when Chef is doing a speech to the town. And then we cut to the turkeys, where this turkey is doing the exact same speech to the turkeys that Chef did for the town. Doesn't sound funny when I describe it, but when watching it, it was funny. Gobble, 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 gobble. Gobble! Oh yeah, this episode also jokes about Kenny being poor, so that's one of his only defining personality traits other than dying so far. So good on you, writers, giving Kenny more to do. 9. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. He loves me. I love you. Therefore, vicariously, he loves you. Kyle feels sad during this Christmas season, so tries getting everyone to believe in Mr. Hanky. Okay, I won't do the song again. Unfortunately, this one's a 3 out of 5, and on the lower end, I'm afraid. This one is not that weakest of the season so far, quite honestly. Again, it's funny. That's the main pro of this season. A lot of these jokes do be hitting, but man, Mr. Hanky is kind of a douche in this episode. Why doesn't he just show everyone that he's alive? I know they have to believe in all that, but like after Chef just tells the boys, "Oh yeah, Mr. Hanky's real," he can just show up magically with no problems. All the adults can see him, but they weren't believing. What type of BS is that? I just feel bad for Kyle. Bro didn't do anything to deserve this. I feel bad for the poor kid. He's locked up. Gotta send Kyle out. Gotta get Kyle back in, fam. Oh crap, 4 viewers. Oh my god. Hey chat, you liking me talk about South Park? All right. So yeah, overall, it just wasn't that funny. Mr. Hanky wasn't that likable. Just felt bad for Kyle the whole time. And I know. Don't be a pussy, bro. It's just a comedy. But like, when your plot doesn't even make sense on that basic of a level, then like, what's the point, fam? Also, the rest of the episode, another case where I agree with the point, but it wasn't handled in that funny of a way. Yes, people can be too PC and too like, oh, you gotta get rid of this because it's offensive. When in actuality, it's just like, so yeah, maybe you're Jewish on Christmas, but like, you let Kyle be in the damn play, Sheila. Don't you know Kyle just wants to fit in? But then again, this is Sheila we're talking about, so I guess she wouldn't really care or really get it. So yeah, this one's fine, and this one's funny enough to stay in 3 out of 5 tier, but man, I was so close to giving this thing a mediocre, you don't even know. At least this is the only episode in the season where Kenny actually lives, so lucky on us, we got some Christmas magic with this one. Home stretch, baby. Alrighty, number 10, Damien. Satan's son Damien comes to town. At the same time, Cartman's planning his birthday. How is this one? It's a 4. I like this one decently enough. The main reason, though, is the Cartman's birthday plot. Again, to be honest, most of the Damien stuff I really wasn't that big of a fan of. Damien isn't a character I find that interesting. And also, just to set a point, I do not get Damien X Pip shippers. So, like, how does that work? Damien was a dick to him the whole episode. Didn't even hurt him just to get in the birthday party. If you really do ship them, I don't really care. But like, please explain it to me because I don't get it. Is it a Tashundra thing? I don't know, bro. Still, it's fine. Cartman being so self-centered and greedy on his birthday, literally giving them orders on what to get him. Cartman's trying to get all the Mega Mans. I'm confident it's not based off the game. Is just funny. Again, Cartman's so self-centered that of course he's gonna be like, okay, so Stan gave me the red Mega Man, and Kenny, you'll give me the yellow Mega Man because he's the poorest, because he's the cheapest, and now you're poor. And then and the best moment, one of my favorite moments of the whole season, is when Kyle gets Cartman ants in the pants. The way Cartman just screams like ants in the pants, ants in the pants. It's a fun game, dude. I want you to die. I want you dead. Oh God, sorry, person on stream. You did not need to see all that. That was so bad, dude. Oh my God. What are you doing with your life, Z-Man? You're almost 18, and this is how you handle everything. Go, oh my god. So yeah, good episode. The actual Damien stuff is mid, but the Cartman party stuff is funny. Good episode. Also, Satan taking a dive so he can win the fight was very fun. And by win the fight, I mean he won the bets pretty much. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but hopefully you know what I mean. 11. Tom's rhinoplasty. Garrison gets a nose job, so the class gets a sub that Wendy's jealous of. Aw man, Wendy jealous of the teach. It's a 4 out of 5. I really like this episode. One of the funniest so far, in fact. See, we get to see more of Wendy. Before this point, she was kind of just like an activist girl who was Stan's kind of girlfriend. But this episode kind of solidifies the fact that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And man, Cartman was such a. I know I'm saying this a lot, but Cartman's just a dick, bro. All Wendy wanted was just plan out her day with Stan at the beginning of the episode, being like, "Oh, maybe we can like a paper mache boat, and like we can pretend we're getting married." Like very cute childhood stuff, and then Cartman's just like making fun of her and calling it like the stupidest thing, bro. Cartman's just jealous because he doesn't get bitches, bro. That's all it is. That's all it is, fam. Seeing Wendy get jealous of the new sub, Miss Ellen, because Stan has a crush on her is just funny. And then when Chef tells the boys that Miss Ellen's a lesbian, them trying to act lesbian, Cartman saying stupid shit like, "Actually, my grandpa was like was like half lesbian, so that makes me like a quarter lesbian." Cartman, shut the hell up! You don't know what you're talking about, fam. You an 8-year-old, bro. What the hell are you gonna in the '90s, no less? How the hell? What do you know, bro? And then them licking carpet and trying to act lesbian. It's so it's South Park, bro. That's all I gotta say. Admittedly, Wendy like sending Miss Ellen off into like the sun and all that is very weird and not really what Wendy would do. But then again, it's only season one, which I know to some people is a lame excuse. Like, so what if it's season one? Still criticize it, but to me, it's like, it's season one. They're trying to figure the characters out. Obviously, Wendy wouldn't normally do this, but like we're early enough to where to where maybe she does it and then realizes, oh wait, maybe I was wrong. Again, it's the episode's so funny though that like I don't really care about that though. Pretty good one. Also, I didn't talk much about the Garrison stuff, but him getting the David Hasselhoff face, at least that's what I'm confident that's who the dude is. That's just again funny. God, do not take a shot every time I say the word funny. I guarantee you will die, fam. Don't take a shot every time I say the word fam. I guarantee you will die. 12. Mecha Streisand. The boys find a triangle that Barbara Streisand uses to become all powerful. I'm going to be blunt with this one. It's a 2 out of 5. I don't want to talk about this one for too long. It's really mediocre. I'm not the type of guy who likes when shows, especially adult comedies, just make fun of celebrities. I don't care about celebrities or like politics and like all that shit. That means, especially not now. Obviously, I'm not gonna care about it like late '90s bull crap. It just ages your episode and your show by doing stuff like that. And again, shows like South Park and Family Guy are the worst at it because they can dedicate like full episodes to this, and it's just like, dude, I don't care. I don't care about Barbara Streisand. The most funniest thing about this is like an interview Man Trey did where they talk about how much they hate her and how she's like Satan. But that's not even a part of South Park. That's just some interview they did. I know hating on celebrities is why South Park show so popular, but guess what? I don't care, Chief. I like South Park for the characters and like the wacky humor that isn't just hating on celebs. So so wow, imagine how I feel about the newer seasons. Wow, I'm gonna be so shocked when he starts hating on all that. So yeah, I really didn't care about this episode. I know it's not just making fun of Barbara Streisand and all these celebrities. But the other stuff I also didn't really like. Cartman being a jelly about the triangle was okay Cartman material. Again, it's Cartman. It's hard for me to really call Cartman any Cartman stuff really bad, but it also wasn't his funniest thing in the world, even by season one standards. And the Godzilla stuff by the end, I simply don't care about Godzilla. It's like when it feels like talking to your friend who likes that one thing, and but you really couldn't care less about it, but they just keep going on about it. And it's like, dude, I don't care. I don't have any interest in what you're talking about. So kind of like how a lot of people I know really care about superhero stuff when I couldn't care less about that kind of thing. So yeah, mediocre, not completely unwatchable, but not an episode I'd ever choose to rewatch. Again, more of a personal thing, but then again, it is my personal ranking, so, And now we get to the season finale. Cartman's mom is a dirty slut. Cartman tries figuring out who his real dad is. Final episode. Is it good? Yeah. 4 out of 5. I like this episode. I think it's good. What's there to say about this one? Well, Cartman, the story changing constantly, and Cartman changing based on it. Like, first he finds out that his dad's a Native American, so Cartman acts like a Native American, being like, "Ah, man, you white people have been controlling us for too long." And then he finds out Chef's his real dad, so he acts black. Like, what's up, homies? West Side. Cartman, shut the hell up. What do you talk about, fam? Being like, West Side. And then he finds out that Mr. Garrison's his dad, so he just at this point just confronts him at the bar, just like, "What the hell are you doing? I knew you were my dad." But then just finds out that his mom is, well, as the Native American says that Luann Cartman is a bear with a long canyon. It's a bear who will not keep legs shut. So yeah, obviously it does not go well. I guess there is some plot about like Stan and Kyle like recording a video, but I'm not even gonna talk about that stuff. It's not bad, but like they just make fun of Bob Saget. Who the hell's Bob Saget? And of course, infamously, the episode and the whole season, as a matter of fact, ends on a cliffhanger. So you want to know who Cartman's real dad is? Then piss off. Wait till season 2. Is it gonna be the first episode of season 2? Damn, who's gonna tell them? And with that, we're at the end of the season. At the very bottom, number 13, with as the only 2 out of 5, we have Mecha Streisand. Then with the 3 out of 5s, we have Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh, Death, and Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. That's only 4 episodes overall. So the top 9 are all 4 out of 5s. So this was a very consistently good season for me. Next up, we have Damien, Volcano, Cartman gets an A probe, Cartman's mom is a dirty S, and then the top 5, which is Starvin' Marvin, An Elephant Makes Love to a Pig, Pink Eye, Tom's Rhinoplasty, and okay, I know technically Weight Game 4000 isn't really the best episode, but it's a guilty pleasure for me. I'm sorry, I couldn't have any other season 1 episode dethrone it. I know when we get to season 2 and all that, obviously it won't remain at the top, but for now, let it have its moment, bro. I was seriously debating Tom's Rhinoplasty and Pink Eye, though. Those two are very close in quality to me. Pink Eye's more memorable, but Tom's Rhinoplasty is simply just a funnier episode, so I think it beat it out. And yeah, that's South Park Season 1. Overall, a good season. I don't really get people who hate early South Park. Like, sure, maybe a lot of it is kind of just crude, and the characters aren't the most developed, but again, South Park isn't a show you really watch for the characters anyway, so I don't really see that as a problem. I know I said it earlier, but South Park Season 1 really is just a Newgrounds cartoon before Newgrounds was really a thing. I could totally see this being in the same era as like Homestar Runner or Edgeworld or that type of thing. It just got the chance of being on Comedy Central, and being like one of the most popular shows ever made. It's not really like season 1 and the first 3 seasons, just in general, are not like the rest of the show. Even season 4, to an extent, isn't like the rest of the show. Clearly, again, they didn't really care that much beyond just making dumb little jokes, but I think that's okay. It was, in a way, I kind of like this early South Park style more than, again, the newer stuff they're doing, where they just look at the news and be like, guess time to make fun of that, because who needs original ideas? So yeah, overall, I like South Park season one. Not my favorite thing in the world, but I still like it. I think it's a quite a well-made season if I do say so myself. Before I end this video, I want to say crazy work on the fact that both Simpsons, Family Guy, and South Park are very much in common with their first seasons. They all have episodes that are either 4 out of 5s or 3 out of 5s. None below a 3, but no 5 out of 5s. I know Family Guy's a little unlucky because it's 7 compared to South Park and Simpsons 13, but still, it's insane how I pretty much have the same thoughts on all 3 of them. They're good, but different from the shows we really know them as. That's odd. Still, with that, thank you guys for watching. If you want to really put in your own takes on any of these episodes, please talk about it in the comment section. And with that, Z-Man out.